Ollie, first of all, again, thank you so much for taking the time and effort to join this call. And my overarching question and introduction to what you're going to share, what do you look for when choosing a print partner?
Well, Henrik, thank you very much indeed for the opportunity. It's great to be here and a wonderful presentation. So I suppose one of the challenges that we face when we're seeking print providers globally is, are they going to be able to effectively fulfill our work on a B2C level? Because you get the established players who have a strong infrastructure, but then you get those who are traditionally B2B players. So at that point, I am looking for a trust indicator that tells me whether or not this print partner is going to be able to facilitate for my B2C orders, or orders of personalization. So very different to what they may be traditionally doing. And I think the first trust indicator that I'd be looking for is, have they got the appropriate workflow? Have they got the appropriate workflow to process my orders on time, every time, to a reasonable or a very good, if you like, SLA? And when I see Gelato, when I see that they've got a Gelato workflow, what that tells me, quite simply, straight away, it tells me, you know what? When I send these guys a file, it will go through to their machines, and they know what they're doing when it comes to personalization. So I think that's the first thing that I look for. But does that answer the first part of the question?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ollie.
Yeah. So the second, and I refer to this as a trust indicator, because for me, I can't be in many places at once. So I need to be able to qualify and quantify the partner without actually visiting them. So once I've established that they do have a workflow, the second trust indicator for me is, well, the fact that they've invested in GelatoConnect tells me that they're committed to growth. And that for me is very important. It also gives me an indicator that I may not be their only customer. There may be other customers that they're doing similar work for. So again, that is trust indicator number 2 from my perspective. And this is the approach that I take when qualifying a partner. And bear in mind, we're onboarding partners on a weekly basis. And I need a quick way to either say, yes, let's carry on this dialogue, or no, let's move on to the next discussion. Now, the third thing for me is logistics. So logistics is a real challenge, because if I'm entering a new region, or if I'm in an existing region, I want not to have to worry about the logistics challenges. So if I'm entering a new, let's just say if I'm going into Spain, right? I want to be able to enter Spain and know that my logistics is taken care of, or at least I have someone to go to help me with my logistics. And again, the Gelato infrastructure is very useful for that, because it confirms, A, they've got the right workflows, 2, they're invested in growth, 3, they're partnering with a rather large network, and 4, I can also plug into the Gelato logistics system, which saves me a lot of heartache and hassle for the medium, or indeed the long term as well. So that's a further trust indicator. And fourthly, and I think this is probably the most important, is my ability to see my orders and to see my customers' orders at every facility. And I want to know where it is, what it's doing. I want confirmation of tracking. Is the partner behind? Is the partner within SLA? And Gelato HQ is very, very useful for that, because I can simply log in, and in our industry, it's a shame, but we know that the partner will say, I'm on track. I know I'm well on track. Today I'll dispatch everything. And the reality is, come the end of the day, they've dispatched 25% of what they promised that they'll do. And unfortunately, these things do exist. But I think the transparency about Gelato HQ is it gives me the confidence that I can see exactly what's going on. I can see where my print orders are. And if there is going to be a delay, I can proactively address it. And point number two, it provides a degree of accountability as well on the other side, because it's fully transparent. And to quote Simon at ESP, he said to me, look, initially, I may not have really liked having all this visibility, but actually it holds us to a really high standard. It gives absolute visibility. And I think that is also really, from my perspective, it's a game changer, because if I can't see it, I may not necessarily believe it. So I think that's also a very, very important feature that Gelato brings to the party, as it were. So that hopefully gives you an overview of how, as a print buyer, as a print sourcer, and obviously we do tens of millions in print spend. These are the kind of factors and considerations I look for when it comes to selecting a print partner.
Thank you so much. And it's interesting, Ollie, when we at Gelato listen to you, when we listen to Martin, because we all share the same belief in the production on demand in the print industry. We see the growth, but we also see the pain and the refunds and the reprints when we as an industry are not delivering, which brings me to two clarifications. So we speak about GelatoConnect logistics. Just so everyone understands the full picture here, we have like 85 carriers globally connected to one single software. And we were the only one, to the best of my knowledge, that were able, 2024, I'm not saying we will be able perhaps this year, but 2024, to avoid all surcharges. Now, Martin told me he got one extra invoice of $67,000 from one PSP that did not avoid surcharges, only in surcharges. So there are many aspects also to that. And then when it comes to GelatoConnect HQ, it stands for GelatoConnect Headquarter, as you might have guessed, but it gives Ollie an ability to sit in the UK and have a complete visibility across the whole world on every PSP, on every single order. Ollie and his team are able to refund, reprint, resend, and this is, of course, from a volume owner's perspective, a complete game changer for the industry. And what happens? You get more volume because we are more successful. So, Ollie, really appreciate you joining, and thank you so much for sharing your view about this partnership and also the industry's opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and keep up the good work. And I think one of the quick points, I was also very impressed with Gelato's ability to respond to our requirements. So, for example, when I reached out to the team and said, look, I even if I'm looking and I can see that a PSP is behind, I want to be able to send them an email saying, look, all of these orders, you're behind on all of these orders, please give me an update. That was a manual process. We reached out to you, and I think in a matter of days, you were able to create an automatic system for for our partners to receive an email with all their delayed orders. And again, I think that responsiveness and that reactiveness, I haven't seen it in the industry. And I think that also, for me, it's fantastic. It gives me confidence in Gelato. It gives me confidence in the network, and long may it continue. So thank you to you guys for being so responsive. And this was during Q4, by the way.
Yeah,
so that was wonderful.
That is highly mutual. I mean, the guidance and the input you have given us and the team, we just build better products by working together.